And here we are for the final video for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. With me today is...
Unran Handjob. We recorded this all the way back at like episode 1 because this is when it chronologically takes place.
Yeah, what happened was the game started, you saw this first part where Ezio mentions the apple Mario left him, and then the sequence glitched, so we had to go through the whole game.
Yep.
So, following the fall of the Borgia, Cesare ran off to Spain, where his family was initially from, and got involved in the dispute. Oh.
Look at those cannons.
That was a very silly way to end that fight, but yeah, here we are in Viana. Big war going on. Cesare is helping out. I think it's a family relation of his, and we're gonna hunt him down and kill him because Viana is where Cesare died.
Spoilers for history.
I need munition.
History is spoiler free. It's a spoiler free zone.
You fist fought the Pope.
I did. That was that. Well, see, the thing is, we don't know if Rodrigo ever got in a fist fight. We can't.
Castelviana. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
You know, if you respell if you take the letters in Castelviana and rearrange them, do you know what you get?
I think I can guess.
That's correct. You get Bloodstained Rituals of the Night.
Oh yes, I will have to get that because apparently it's like Castlevania 3 inspired or something. In multiple characters and stuff.
Not somewhat that, but more
skimpy-ish.
It's an Iga game, so it's the guy who the Symphony of the Night style.
Yeah, full disclosure, the only Igavania I've played is Symphony because I've never been a big portable gamer. And if you want to play Igavanias, you have to get DS and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had a DS a long time ago. I lost it. No idea where it went. And
I have a 3DS somewhere around here. I think it's in a bag over in the corner, and I should possibly go look. This is going to be great when we get to episode... previous episodes when I may or may not have found it by then.
And the video glitching there is very appropriate because I was right next to the memory sequence wall.
Yeah.
See, this is all Animus stuff you're watching right here.
Yeah. So this is...
this is kind of a stealth mission and kind of not. You can run through this easily, whatever.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of you can sneak through pretty well. It's showing here, but it's really not necessary.
Especially if you have smoke bombs.
Yeah. I mean, you can't carry unlimited smoke bombs, but generally speaking, you don't need to. These are soldiers of some king Cesare is fighting for. The idea is that database entry is that Cesare is trying to aid the king.
He's trying to get power back after he basically you took it all away from him.
Yeah, after the Borgia got chased out of Rome by Cardinal della Rovere, who is going to become the next pope, or maybe it
would have helped if he hadn't stuck to try to poison his father with the apple.
Yeah, and if you'll remember the final Da Vinci disappearance video. I think it was Ezio's mom mentioned it was Claudia that said Ezio had returned back to Rome. This is where he came back from. This is taking place before the final Da Vinci. This is taking place before all of the Da Vinci disappearance issues.
Yeah, but the Da Vinci disappearances from the Brotherhood sequence is the chronologically last set of events in this game.
Yeah,
which is also why Lucretia is still alive and
but the thing is
going insane.
The thing is that when you're doing an LP, you kind of have to figure a good way to end it. Like, what's an appropriate final video? And the end of the base game is a better one than the end of the Da Vinci disappearance.
Yes. And as long as it doesn't involve the thief missions, well, we're okay.
Yeah. Because, canonically speaking, at the time I recorded this, I still have not done them. And I think, as I've mentioned before, I didn't know that they existed, so I thought I only had the trophy left to finish the game, and that was it. But no, that was incorrect. I was wrong about that. But yeah, what's going on here is soldiers of some king are fighting against the Castellan monarchs who... Castile is the foundation for the current kingdom of Spain. These are trying to maintain an independent kingdom. We can't allow that. No. Especially when it's the Borgia getting involved. Then we have to.
Yep.
And the current Castellan monarchs are Ferdinand and Isabella, who approved Columbus's expedition.
Yay. And also probably helped finance Christina's cousin's voyages to the New World as well.
Yeah, the thing is, if
remember Christina?
The fun thing is that if Columbus was actually right about wanting to be, if Columbus was actually wanting to go to India, and the monarchs knew how long of a voyage it was, it never would have been true. Because Columbus was pretty much just some guy. He didn't really have any experience at all to make him a safe investment.
It was white.
And when he finally ended up in the New World, he pretty much couldn't have been further away from where he was intending to go. I mean, India's on the other side of the planet from the Antilles or whatever.
Yeah, that's sort of true.
I mean, I'm just speaking in a geographic sense. He almost couldn't have been more wrong if he tried. And these guys are pretty casual for just strolling around the battlefield here. I mean, look at that. Look at that guy. He does not care. Of course, I had to kill him, but, you know, whatever. Unfortunately, neither the king's soldiers or the Castellan soldiers take too kindly to a heavily armed robed man walking around. So most of the time these dudes will be fighting each other. If they're in the same place as you, they'll gang up on you. Unfortunately, the advanced AI of Revelations, where enemy soldiers will attack each other, has not been implemented yet.
Yeah, well, it also was, you know, to be fair for this game, this is like one of the few scenarios where there actually are more than one faction actively fighting you. Sorry, so it kind of gets weird. Like in the other one, it makes sense because you had both the Ottomans and the Sultanate guards, whatever the heck, Byzantines. So there were two separate factions going after you that could attack you.
Yeah.
Primarily it was the Ottoman. Primarily was the Byzantines.
There's our fancy dagger.
The walls surround you. There is nowhere to run. Come then, Ezio! I cannot die.
The historic account is that Cesare fell off the side of a castle, and that's how he got killed. See, we're following history here.
By stabbing him.
With the same dagger Brutus used to kill Julius Caesar. You know, I think it's a little late in the game to be giving us that basic combat tip.
No, you see, this is really like one of the very first things you would see in the game if it didn't glitch out. That's why it's there.
So Cesare, you know, he is boasting a whole bunch, but he is by far the most dangerous enemy in the game because he has the pistol and he has a lot of health, and dudes will help him out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there aren't really any hard enemies in this game except for maybe the Swiss Guard.
Yeah.
Who aren't hard.
And that's if you fight them in a straight up fight. If you insta-kill them, well, that doesn't really count.
Or you figure out how to like break the AI. Yeah. Most of the time, you can break the AI. Actually, I take it back. The most dangerous enemy in this game are the pikemen.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Because they're the ones who have like literally unavoidable area of effect attacks.
Very annoying.
Yes.
It would be it would
So
be
is
pretty
this-
funny if you could make Cesare cower by using the dagger of Brutus, but unfortunately Ubisoft thought ahead.
Yeah. And of course, this is interesting in that it's, you are slowly but steadily removing his armor from him.
But the thing is, in fiction, armor never really helps people. I mean, look at these guys; they're all wearing armor, and I'm going through them like hot knife through butter.
Well, they all have little fleshy parts like exposure points that you're really good at. Because you have a little thing that goes stabby stab.
Yeah, but there aren't. I should have a little more trouble killing these guys than what I'm regularly doing.
I think get scared of the stupid dagger.
Oh, that's the reason. See, I actually took it. See, my dagger is going right. Unless I'm like stabbing his joints really hard, then I shouldn't have been able to kill that heavily armored dude as easily as I did. But yeah, the key thing you have to remember, Cesare, he'll parry all your regular swipes, so you just kick him. No enemy really has any defense against the kicking.
The throne was mine.
The throne is yours.
Wanting something.
Yes, sir.
What make it your right?
What do you know?
That the true leader.
Nothing is true and everything is permitted.
I will lead mankind into a new world.
Che nessuno ricordi il turno.
Too bad about that, Ezio. We kind of did remember his name for a while.
No man.
We had a couple TV shows about him, too.
I mean,
Then I leave you in their
Niccolo
hands of
Machiavelli pretty much wrote The Prince about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, in the Assassin's Creed world, the Prince was based on Ezio, but in the real world, it was based on Cesare.
Yes. Oh, well.
It's not the fall. It's not the fall that kills you. It's the sudden stop at the bottom.
The throne was mine. What do you know?
All right. So the whole point of this is that after Ezio's battle with Cesare, he goes back to Rome, gets rid of. He used the apple to find where Cesare was, and that's why he went to Spain. And then all the assassins know is that he did something with the apple in Rome, and then it disappears. So we needed to get to this point in Ezio's life to find out what he did with it.
Yes. And meanwhile, we are sinking more and more Desmond's mind up with Ezio's. To the point where it may be unable to disentangle
off.
two.
Now, there actually was a bit of foreshadowing. I think we mentioned at the time, but there was a bit of foreshadowing as to where Ezio put the apple. It's one of those things, if you didn't know, if you haven't played the game before, you probably wouldn't care. Because you'd think it was like some random texture or something. A nice looking texture, but nonetheless, it means nothing more than that.
Yep. Well, it's underneath the Colosseum. It's been underneath the Colosseum for the last 600 years, guys.
And that's the last. And if you want to know what happens next to Ezio, well, there's Assassin's Creed Revelations for you. And Embers, which is actually follows his death.
I've got it. Colosseum.
Yeah.
Let's go. We can be there before dawn.
You
Wait,
call it
something about
Seo.
that door. I don't think I saw a handle. Let me run an analysis.
And so yeah, Revelations
Right.
taking place
So
over
it's a kind of
Brotherhood, I should say,
futuristic
takes place
key.
over a very short
it
period
seems
of
to open
time.
with a verbally triggered mechanism.
Canonically.
I've never seen anything like it.
Hey,
You
wait
mean
a
password?
second.
Try humming Beethoven's Fifth.
Where have we seen a,
Damn European power grid. Now we can't scan Ezio's
How
memories to
convenient.
find the password.
if only there was a random sequence of triangles that we may have seen
Damn
previously in this
socialist
game.
power grids.
We have to find that password. Ezio knows the answer.
This damn elevator's been broken for
you
3
saw that
days.
tweet.
Can't
Too.
believe we're stuck here.
Unfortunately, none of our buddies have anything to say, so we've got to find out the clues ourselves. I actually don't know. See,
let's go.
there's a clue Ezio left as to how to get to the Apple Chamber, but I'm not sure if you can see it before this part of the game. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm really, really, really glad the recording didn't glitch up at this final sequence, because you can replay story stuff with Ezio, but you can't replay Desmond stuff. So if this Desmond stuff was glitchy, I would have had to
maybe it
replay
has
the whole
something to
game
do
to
with
get this
this.
footage.
Huh, that seems familiar. We've been walking by this entire time to get into town.
Symbol matches the one on the door.
How have we not seen the notice this
Apparently
before?
nobody thought these
1420,
were
1420.
relevant at all.
What if they aren't?
I mean, to be fair, they don't really have any reason to...
What if it's the name of God?
God.
Sean's got the clues.
What?
God.
Tell us already.
I am. The Tetragrammaton. The 72 names of God. You see? They're all contained within 3 verses. Exodus 19 through 21. And get this, you'll like this. If you arrange the 4 Hebrew letters in God's name within an equilateral triangle, their numerical values add up to the same number. 72.
Are you absolutely sure about this?
That's kind of why I'm saying it out loud, Rebecca, yeah, but I haven't got to the kicker yet. Construction on the
Oh, good old
Colosseum
Sean.
began in the year 72.
I think we have our password.
Sean, go get the van.
What was the name of what was the answer to life, universe, and everything 42 or something?
No, the question was, what is 6 times 8? The answer is 42.
Well, that's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing. That's the answer to
I
everything
bet.
or something.
Let's go.
Yes.
Whoa,
Yes, and
what
if they
about
were
us,
would
eh?
meet, they
Might
in the
actually need
universe
a historian
collapses.
down
Again, you
there.
can just
Sean's
you
right.
can sleep
That
that
tunnel
off.
should lead under Capitoline Hill. I'll help them find another entrance.
Yeah, nice try. I've seen your car.
I think the recording glitched a bit there, but as you can see from when I got near the memory wall, my recording software was having a time of it the night I recorded this.
Yeah. So this is kind of fun. I do like the fact that they decided to give you the run around to the Colosseum and the catacombs underneath.
Yeah, it's nice to see the same
Not
stuff you saw closer to its original shape as Ezio as Desmond. Desmond will do additional the stuff in Revelations doesn't count. Desmond will do platforming among modern day environments and perhaps a later sequel, I don't know, but this is the first time Desmond is really jumping around.
And maybe Desmond will get a gun.
This is the same stuff Ezio is jumping around on, so it's cool to have that point of comparison between them.
I can't believe I'm actually going to
Yeah.
hold the apple.
It's been a long time.
So obviously you can kind of see where the
I wonder if it'll
old...
change. Whether it can tip the scales in
See,
our
that's
favor.
where we were fighting the dude at the
Yep.
gala underneath. And you can kind of see this is the interesting part of how the Colosseum has the actual extensive foundation and catacombs underneath it.
That was one of the layers of Romulus, too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and the whole thing with
Yes.
Desmond seeing ghostly images is a continuation of that subplot from Assassin's Creed 2, where the bleeding effect was starting to make him see things
What do you think
see
we'll
things
find?
that he normally would only see on the Animus. So spending more time with Ezio means he's starting to merge more with his ancestor.
Hey, maybe this time we'll be lucky.
Yeah. Well, not much we can do about it. We'll fix it eventually.
It's just one of those things growing boys you go through every now and then.
Yeah, I do have to say, I do really like this because this is one of those cases where I don't think we've had a good design language talk in a while, but how this game does very good with design language and
There's so
where
much
you can go and where
construction.
Yeah.
you can't go,
This place is like a maze.
and how you can kind of figure out what to do.
Like, it's not super obvious where you have to go, so you kind of have to use some of that old noggin to figure out what. And you even get a little
Good to know.
history lesson with your buddies talking about the history of the Colosseum. Apparently, someone in the Middle Ages had the bright idea of using the Colosseum as like a loom factory or something. Like at one point, it was being used for a totally different purpose other than preserving ancient buildings or fighting. But
So,
Yeah, they got over that pretty fast. And today it's
I have a
you
feeling
could
that
actually
the
restore the
answer-
Colosseum to
72.
what it looked like in ancient Roman days, just because we would know what the collapsed parts looked like.
Yeah, it's been pretty well restored.
Someone wants to
It's-
make sure we get it right.
Yeah. And again, here's kind of where we, at the end of the sequence, I'm chasing the dude, and here's the room where you would run into and alert the guys.
So it all comes full circle.
So, all in all, I really do like this. This is a really good callback, and then
Yeah, again,
I'm glad we have just a random hay barrel there in the middle of the construction site.
Back on familiar ground.
left over from ancient times. Aha.
Well, let's go push the glowing yellow thingies.
I mean, your first inclination would be like the statue has some hidden switch in it that opens this door, but now you have to look into the vision.
Yeah. There's the glow stick.
Never come to ancient ruins without them. Never come to ancient ruins without them.
Yeah.
We commit to this space the epilogue of our ending. Let it be found by he who is deemed worthy. Let it guide him. Let it shape his path.
This was
forward.
not the same person at the end of
Let it save the
Assassin's
worlds
Creed 2.
we
This is
leave
somebody else.
behind.
Who are you?
Yeah.
What's going on, Desmond?
Nothing.
You know, honestly, I thought this video would be longer. It's only 38 minutes with the final story bits. But that's mostly because I cut out a large part of the credits, because everybody knows what to expect from Ubisoft credits. There's really no need to see them.
This is a widely diverse cast of crew
Yes.
with lots of people.
And this is all new stuff, by the way. Ezio didn't go here at all.
To stone, to the memory of men. These proved
Because he followed a more direct path, going through the catacombs beneath the Colosseum.
cleansed by famine. Cleansed
Like,
by
the Colosseum, aside from being iconic, was actually really well designed. You could fully evacuate the Colosseum within, like, a few minutes, I think.
As seen in this game.
And, they actually had mock naval battles in the Colosseum, too, when it was actually being used, so. Very versatile building.
Yep. Yep, it was, it could be hydraulically sealed or whatever you want to call it.
And they would also bring in exotic, because the Roman Empire was so big and it covered so much of the ancient world. They were bringing in all sorts of exotic animals to come and fight. Lions were pretty popular. I think they brought in hippopotami too, but don't quote me on that. I just think they did. Because everyone knows what assholes hippopotami have been for quite some time.
Well, just wait till you get to
That's
Assassin's Creed Origins. They are the biggest assholes in that game.
I assume the crocodiles are the gentle giants. Like, if you have an Egypt game, you gotta have crocodiles in it.
I'm coming.
Well, you guys got up here quick.
Took you long enough.
What is this place?
Santa Maria alla Quella.
Protagonist always has to do
See those
things the hard
columns along
way.
the aisles? They're lifted from Roman ruins. Now, supposedly, this church was built on top of the ancient temple of Juno.
I like the ceiling.
Do you? You like the ceiling? Oh, you are a fascinating travelling companion.
Sean is pretty much always like this. He's not like a super nice... I mean, he's informative, he's dedicated to the cause and all that, but he's pretty much always like this.
Yeah. Super stodgy, except for the one case.
Yeah, I mean, he's
the
nice.
one case.
Yeah.
Or he finds a dog.
Like, you'd expect him to be like a secretly nice guy or something, but he's pretty much always like that, actually.
No, yeah, he's pretty much an asshole.
But he's good at his job, and that's why people keep him around. Like, I haven't played the newer I have the newer Assassin's Creed, so I haven't played them yet,
Something up there.
but he's not dead yet. He's still alive. Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Don't go into specifics too much, but do they actually have a named protagonist in the newer games? That's good.
Yes. Yes. And it's the same bit one between the first Origins and Odyssey. So, yes. It's not like you're playing Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue where you're not
Or Unity,
exactly the
where you're
same
just
person.
some guy, pretty much. Exactly.
Some guy playing a video game at home.
We did not build them to be wise.
So the idea here is that we've been below this place as Ezio. When we did the Colosseum front lair of Romulus, we were below this place, and now we need to get to the same place Ezio was to find the Temple of Juno, where the apple.
Or turn them against one another.
But the trick is, Ezio didn't know what the password was when he came through. Yeah, that was it. Just
It
God.
was God. I'm so glad that nobody figured out how to open up some of these
Something's open.
ladders.
And thank God we're doing this at night, because this would be very hard to explain when parishioners come through.
Here is a safe place.
Installed the monkey bars.
Store objects. Words.
Wait, they've always been there? What the fuck were these Catholics doing
man.
years ago?
I mean, the Catholic Church in the Assassin's Creed world is a front for the Templars or something, so who knows about these people?
We can distract
In this game.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good in the modern day in this world, or something. It's more they don't know what's going on.
Stamina, unending. We cannot evade his grasp. Not forever.
The Templars used them to co-opt it in this game. Hey, there's...
Although Catholic
goes.
John Roberts is the Templar in this canon.
Hello. That wasn't in the blueprints.
Desmond, get down here!
On my way.
I mean, guys, I'm way up on the roof of a church. I think you could give me a little time to get down there. But thankfully, the monkey bars are there.
Whatever this is, it doesn't do anything.
Oh yeah, and
It's a dead
Desmond
end.
doesn't have a life bar, so you could jump off any height and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Basically, you can't. Nobody can die in these segments. Everybody's immortal. Unless you're cutscene lanes, anything is possible.
What's going on?
And if you'll remember, assassins like Altair and Ezio are special genes that allow them to interact with all these first civilization technology things.
If you want to
Well, a lot of them do, but
Yes.
some of them do. But Desmond has a whole bunch of them.
And for the record,
In the
for the
eugenics,
record,
baby.
Ezio and Altair are not
Of the
related.
assassins.
It's just the thing is, Ezio and Altair's bloodlines have to coincide with Desmond. That's why it's special.
Now for that password. Sean's right, that is.
I'm always
And
right.
so there's
Above
Oh, yeah.
Connors.
That never happened. I was
And
misquoted.
well, I guess Connors. You know, that's
Yeah,
Ethan's
that whole bloodline.
and Kenway's. That doesn't come from him. And it's also implied that he's got about another at least dozen or so. Because most of the Assassin's Creed Unity, you see a bunch of things that are all being made from
Yeah.
Desmond being
We've seen that symbol as one of Subject 16's scrawlings, and it was one of the puzzle icons, puzzle glyphs, I should say, in Assassin's Creed 2.
Think it speaks English?
Just say it.
I apologize for the guy who keeps screaming at us every time we try to do one of those puzzles, who posted in the thread.
If only.
If only we could learn by the sound of your voice.
Again,
I think
my
my
recording software was having a time.
After you, I think.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fine. I don't...
Who cares?
Let's just say I am not going to replay the game to get this final sequence again perfectly. That is not gonna happen.
You guys have to see this.
Yeah.
I mean, the frustrating part is that my recording of the final Rome missions up until a particular cutscene ended was fine, and then it just completely went to shit.
The apple seems to be in the center.
Yeah.
Time to find out where those temples are.
Yeah. Hope they're not in, like,
Albany.
upstate New York or something.
Bad neighborhood.
Now that's true.
No, I just assume...
No! More flash!
I'm just going to assume all of... I'm just going to assume all of upstate New York is as far away from New York City as possible for
Turn
good
into an alien
reason.
spaceship and fly away. Think about it.
100 years I might speak, and still you would not know us. You with
A likely
5
story.
senses, us with 6. The one we kept from you, to be safe.
Then again, it's
Now you can never know. Only try. Grasp. You can see.
No,
See, what I
time
think my
platforming.
intention there was I didn't want to advance too far and interrupt her voice line. Because that's the thing with these games. You never know what's going to interrupt dialogue.
I like their story.
But yeah, as with Assassin's Creed 2, all this first Civ stuff looks pretty cool.
First,
After, when the world became undone, we tried to pass it through the wall. Tried to join you to us. You see the vision, you hear the words, but you do not know. We should have left you as you were.
Yes.
so this is actually Juno. This is not Athena, who was the
No, she was just in Assassin's Creed 2.
2 games.
It is hard to stay
The only
contained.
first Civ thing in
Growing
Assassin's
as
Creed
we
1
do.
was the Apple of Eden
Wait for
itself,
you, Desmond.
which, you know, we thought, well, I should say, we thought it was...
You will know only.
The thing is, you were kind of led to believe the Apple of Eden was special for most of Assassin's Creed 1, but at the very end it turns out there's a lot of this stuff around. And that's what that projection Altair was looking at the end of the game was. The location, the current locations of all the pieces of Eden. Although,
That's just why they wanted you to do this.
Yeah,
so that
because
they
the-
knew where all the current pieces of Eden are. Because everybody
thrust-
knows there's no such thing
the
as
thrust of it is
time.
that
It's a flat circle.
Abstergo needs one of the pieces of Eden to put on their satellite to launch into space to brainwash the entire world, but all the pieces that the Templars were in possession of for a while they destroyed or lost, so they need to find a current one, which is the point of Assassin's Creed 1. And the thing with the Apple of Eden in this game is the assassins aren't really sure what... I don't think they're really sure what they're going to do with it, but they know they have to keep it out of Abstergo's hands. And now to end
Yay.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I mean, that's what we've been trying to do this whole time, is get that apple.
Yay.
We did it.
I can't believe we're finally here.
Yeah. Well, as long as nobody's here, it's like a secret
this
double
apple
null
is what we
trader. We'll be
spent
all
2
fine.
games
We're
looking
good.
for. I mean, this apple is what we spent 2 games.
Oh, come on, Lucy. Don't do that. You're going to end up dead if you fall off the side like that.
I mean, I know you have some assassin genes or however it goes, but there's really no
So
call
where
for
are the
that.
temples?
You want me to ask it?
Or think it or something.
Oh yeah, they were wanting to use the apple to find out where the temple was. That can prevent the apocalypse Lucy was talking about at the end of 2.
You sure you asked it the right thing?
I know this. I know that symbol. That's a Phrygian cap. It stands for freedom, and that's a Masonic eye. Now those two come together in only one place.
What's happening? I can't move.
Your DNA communes with the apple. You have
Well, their heads are
You
going to
really
explode
should have a
soon.
handle with care warning on
On
it.
the 72nd day before the moment of awakening, you birth from our loins and the loins of our enemies. The end and the
Leonardo
beginning.
kind
And yeah,
We
you
will
might recognize
war
these
and
symbols
honor.
because again, you can
The
see the
final
Abstergo
journey
logo and
commences.
a bunch of shit.
There is
subject
one who would
screens for
accompany
that.
you through the gate. She lies not within our sight. The cross.
Although no
darkens the
Templar
horizon.
crosses, surprisingly enough.
What are you doing?
The path must be opened. You cannot escape your part in this. The scales shall be balanced.
You know, it turns out using the blood sacrifice
Probably.
artifact is probably a bad idea.
Stop! Please!
You know
Look,
there is little
she has to sign an extension to our voice acting contract. We accidentally made another game and used up all 3 of her appearances. This series is really popular. We had to make the money.
No!
Lucy, nothing is read. Everything is permitted.
Exactly. I think I pressed square because
It is
you know,
done.
that's what you use as tab people.
The way lies all before you. Only she remains to be found. Awaken the 6th. Go.
I'm going to go
alone.
fuck off to like cyberspace and do shit, and maybe my husband will show up for
Boy,
a while.
this is going to be hard to explain on the after.
By the way,
action
he's your
report.
kid.
Yeah, if you want an
I do
explanation,
not want
well,
to explain
if you want an
any of that
explanation
shit
for,
I just said.
yes, this is all explained.
I'll
in
play the later
DLC
Assassin's
for
Creed
Revelation,
games, because fuck if...
As what the hell just happened with Lucy there? Yeah,
Well,
but
of Unity
DLC
and
for Revelations is
Syndicate
where they
and
first talked about it.
other stuff.
So again, Ubisoft credits.
I love Ubisoft achievement names.
Yeah, see you in Rogue, I guess.
All right. Well, I don't know what we're doing next.
Yeah, see you in Rogue, I guess.
Yes.
Well, we got to have the fade to white.
All right. Stop.